today we are going to talk about declaring objects. Okay, so how you can declare the object into the program. You all know very well how to declare. So once again we'll go through this, because in Java it uses a keyword new. With help of that you are creating the object. So how you'll do that? First, let's see that when a class is created, we are creating a new data type. You know very well, as we have seen just now, class. So when class is creating, it's create a new data type, and we use this type to declare the object of that type. So whatever the type you are declaring, so you are going to declare the object. However, obtaining object of a class is a two-step process. So when you want to obtain the object, then it is two-step process. What are the step process? The first step, you are going to declare a variable of the class type, and this variable does not define an object. Instead, it is simply a variable that can refer to an object. See, you will understand this with the example which I have defined below. You can see here, when you want to declare the object, so what happened? You have to use the class, then one instance name, that is the class variable name, is equal to new keyword, and then you have going to use the box class. Okay, so what happened here? So the declaring of this class, it is just here defining an object here. Okay, so which will be referred to the simply an object, that is the my box reference of box. Okay, and why we are using new operator here? Because to allocate the memory dynamically. So we have studied in C programming that malloc, calloc, that memory allocation, then delete those memories. So in Java, when you create the object, it should allocate the memory at runtime. So when you want to allocate the memory runtime, then you have to use new operator, and new operator will create the dynamically memory allocation will happen, and it will returns to the reference. So here we have used the new, so it will dynamically create the memory, okay, for the object, that is the my box, okay, which refers to the box classes. Okay, so this statement, when you talk about this, so this statement combined to a step. Okay, so how you are going to rewrite, as I explained you all in yesterday class, that you can do the same method, that is same syntax, in two lines. How that you can do that? Just write what is the box class name, then use the any object name. So if you remember in C++, what you used to, when you want to create the object, you have to write class name space object name. So here similar way you are writing class name and object name. So what happened here? You are using the reference to object, so declaring reference to object. So my box is a reference, okay, to the box. Now we have to allocate the memory. So in the RAM, that is runtime, we should dynamically allocate the memory. So for that, what you are going to do? Your reference, so what is my box, is equal to the new keyword and then the class name. So it will, what will happen here, this stage, it will allocate a box object. Okay, so in memory, what will happen? It will create one object. Okay, the box, it will allocate the memory for the box. Okay, so this is the way you can also declare the object. So this syntax we have seen yesterday, like class var, what we have done now, class var is equal to new class name. So this is the method. That's first you have to do that, class name space object name, then object name, or you say the reference variable, next class variable is equal to new and class name. So class variable is a variable of the class type that is being created. The class name, you know the name of the class that will be instantiated, and then new will allocate the memory for object during runtime. So this way you can declare the object and automatically in memory it will allocate in RAM, that is for object the memory will be created. So take a look here what will happen. The step first, when you are declaring here my box, just 1 minute. Okay, leave it, no problem. Okay, so what happened, this steps. So when you are creating the reference for the box, okay, so you are declaring the object. So first step, we have declared the object box and your object name, you say, so my box. So what will happen, this step in the memory, it will create null value because you are not defining anything, just you are declaring that. So for my box, that is reference, that will be null, nothing is there you have defined. The moment you defined here my box is equal to, that is your reference class, where class variable, or you say as a reference variable, or you say as a object name, is equal to new operator and your class name. The moment you declare, what happened in the memory, dynamically it will allocate the my box, and my box is reference to the box where instance variable. So what are the instance variable in the box? You have width, height and depth. So that is the object is going to create for the box, and whatever the instance variable you have in the class object, for that memory is going to be allocated. So it will be for my box, now memory is allocated, and it will take the data from the instance variable, that is height, width and depth. Okay, so as I take here how you are going to assign object reference variable. Okay, so I want to use the reference variable. How you are going to do that? So see the example here, what happened, I am defining box b1 is equal to new box. So you are created one reference for the box, okay, and in the next step you are telling b1 is assigning into b2. So what happened in the b1, whatever the instance variable is there, that will copy it into b2. So whenever any changes happen into b1 instance variable, it's going to affect the b2 because you are copying the b1 instance variable into b2. Okay, so that's what you can. So but you can see here we have not created the separate class for the b2. We are accessing the same instance variable which is available into the class box. So what happened, two object has been created, that is the reference variable is created, that is the b1 and b2, but both are accessing the same instance variable of the box. So same instance variable, width, height and depth we are accessing. This way you are assigning the object reference variable. So now take another example. So what happened here, what we did here, same box b1 is equal to new box. So b1 and b2 you have created the as a reference, and you have wrote some code, and then after you are telling b1 is equal to null. So what happened this step? So is it b1 and b2 are same? No, b1 will become null, but b2 will be having the instance variable which you have defined here, because the data, whatever that is the instance variable, whatever you have into the B1, that is already copied into the B2. But later stage you say that for B1 it should be null. So here B1 will be null, but B2 will be having some instance variable. So you should remember one thing when you are assigning one object reference variable to another object. So what we have done here, one reference variable, one object reference variable we are assigning to another object reference variable. So you are not creating a copy of object, you are not doing this copy of entire object. This object you are not copying, but what you are happening, you are only making of copying of the reference. So what reference you have B1, that is the copy you are making. It's not you are making the entire this box object, whatever it's have, it is not going to copy, only it is copying the reference. Okay, remember this point, you are not creating a copy of object. That means your object B1 of box object is there, right? See here, this is box object. So in that, suppose you have some more reference, so you are not copying entire, only you are copying, you are only making a copy of reference. That means whatever it has copied into the B1 reference variable, the same thing will be copied here. That's why B1 here become null and B2 is still you have some reference variable. So hope you all understand this. Okay, so now we have to just talk about the method. So that is like a member function which we say that. So you know very well that the method is like to formulate or to it's a custom user defined, you can do that. So it's just whatever the functionality you want to do that, so that functionality you can add into the methods. So when you define into method, what happen, if your program having any error, you have thousands of lines of code, then if anything problem error is there, then in particular in method it is there, then easily you can rectify. And if you are not defining the method and you are writing without method, then it is very difficult to get the error and to resolve also. So that's why they bring the method to reduce the complexity into the program. So what is the method, how you can define it? So you already know that how to define the declare the methods. So to declare the method, you know type. What is the type? The type is your data type. Name, that is your method name you are going to write. You can write anything except the keywords. Then parameter list or argument. So you can pass any parameter into this, and whatever the functionality of the method is there, you can define here. This is your declaring the method. So how you are going to add a method to the box class? So yesterday we have seen the basic program. So in previous presentation we talked about the very simple program to calculate the volume. Okay, and in that we have not declared any method. Now the question is that how you can add the method into that. Okay, that is the same box class. So when you want to do that, then this will allow the class implementation to hide the specific layout of internal data structure. So you know very well, when you use the method, it will hide the specific layout of internal, how you are designing the internal structure. And defining method will provide you to access the data, and also you can define methods that are used internally by the class itself. So let's see this with example, then you will understand more. Okay, so what we have done yesterday, let's open the same program, then we'll get to know that. Okay, see guys, yesterday we talked, what we have talked about here, we just talked about here, simply just created the class box and the box demo1 and directly we executed. Now we have to add methods into the same class. Then how you all going to do that? That is very important. So if you understand this step, then it will become very easy to all to declare the method into any Java program, and you can easily write any program. So let's proceed. So what you are going to do, if you want to see that the PPT also, I'll show you. So what happened, see the same thing we declared. So what happened, it says that you have to add a method called volume and you are going to directly calculate. That means you are passing the direct printing statement here. Here we are not passing any argument, if you remember this. Okay, so what we have to do now? Okay, we'll copy till here. Okay, so what you are going to do now, we have to add the method as we have seen into the previous program. So we have to create similar way, you create a class box, okay, and declare the all variables, that is the instance variable. So I have declared it. Now it says that you have to define one method. So how you can define the methods? Similar way, return type, that is I am going to use void, then any method name, so I will use as a volume. Okay, I am not going to pass any parameter. Okay, now in volume, what you are going to do, we have to calculate the volume for the box. So what you have to do, first let's print system dot out dot println. Okay, I'll just print here volume is equal to okay, so just I'll give the volume is equal to, or volume is whatever. Now because we have not calculated here, so what happen, we'll do directly into the printf statement, we'll calculate the volume. So same system dot out dot println. Okay, so what is that, we have defined how to calculate width into height into depth. So write it width into height into depth. So we have calculated the volume. Okay, so the methods, now it's finished. What we have defined the method, it is done now. So method, you have display a volume for the box here. Now it is done. Now what you are going to do, you have to create the main method. So for this class I have opened the brace here, now I have closed it. Now come to the next step. So what you are going to do, now we have to create another class. So I'll create class, we will define as a box demo2. Okay, now opening brace, what we have to do here in this, we have to define the main method. So we are going to define the main method. So public static void main string arguments okay. So here this step, what we are going to do actually, so we have to use the reference. So you have to create the reference to the class box. That means you are going to create the object. So how to create? The same way, that is your class name box, then the reference name or class variable reference. So I'll use same way, my box1 is equal to then new keyword and then your class name. Same way you have to create another box, my box2 is equal to new and box. So what happened this step? So same way as I just explain you all, you are creating my box1 and my box2. There is two reference variable, that is two object you are going to create. So dynamically in the memory it will create a memory allocation will happen for the my box1 and my box2. Okay, this is done. After this what we have to do, because so far we have not assigned any value to the instance variable, so we have to define, that is initialize the value for the instance variable. So how to do that? So we are going to assign the value. So how you are going to assign? So we'll take first object, that is my box1. So how to access the instance variable from the other class? Using dot operator. So I'll use dot, so because that is the member of the class box, so dot, then you are going to write similar way. The first one is width, so I'll define width is equal to 10. Similar way you can define my box1 dot width, height is equal to 20. Then my box1 dot depth is equal to, okay, so what is that depth value? I'll give 30. This is we have assigned for one, that is instance variable, that is first. Now similar way you have to define for another. So what you do? Same way, my box2 dot width is equal to 15. My box2 dot height is equal to 25. My box2 dot depth is equal to 35. So we have here assigned the value to the instance variable, okay, and in same way we have assigned the value for the my box2 also. Now till now we have done. Now what we have to do? We have to call the methods. So how to call the methods? That is, you are going to now display the volume for first box. So we have to display, that means the method is there also for calculation. So now you are going to display for display volume. So how you will display? So what is your first object? That is your my box1. So I'll write my box1 because my box1 is the reference variable of the class, that is box. So my box1, then to access the method same way dot. What is the method we have defined? We have defined the method volume. So you are directly here, you are going to call as a volume. Okay, we have not passed any argument, we have done. Same way you are going to do for the my box2. So my box2 dot volume. So what will happen this step? This step in memory, what will happen, dynamically it will allocate the memory for my box 1 and my box 2, and that's all. So this is how you can define your, so one closing brace for the main method, one closing brace for the class. So this way you can define the method. So what you have to do, you have to define any methods into your the class. I have defined here as a volume. Now we have defined it. Now come to the main program and main class, define the main method, create the reference class variable reference, okay, assign the value and call the methods. So we are calling to display the volume. So let's execute and see that what is the output. So our class name is box demo 2. So same way you have to save as, change to the all. Okay, I'll give
Sir,
the yes.
You have missed a semicolon.
Okay, let's see that. Then only we'll get to know that. Thank you for pointing out. Okay, I have saved. Okay, as where I have missed semicolon. Okay, here let's see what error we are going to get it. So open the command prompt. Okay, so one more things, you can see here in the box demo, that is demo 1 and box class is there. Okay, same we have, I'll delete this so you can see here. Okay, so there is no box demo class, that is bytecode. So Java C space your box demo 2 dot java. Oh, again path is different. We have not changed the path. I'll close 1 minute. Okay, so to compile, Java C space your class name dot java. Okay, see we got the error, right? As so we don't know, while writing the program definitely we will do the mistake. Okay, so how you will find the error, you can see as every time I am explaining you all, the answer is given on the screen itself. It is saying the line, that is the your box demo2.java, that is the file, line number 25. The error is, what is the error? Semicolon expected. So it's required semicolon, where my box dot height is equal to 20. That means here we have not given semicolon. So it clearly says that the error is happened due to this line. So just go and resolve that one. So I'll give the semicolon here, save it. Okay, so far see, because we got the error, that's why there is no bytecode, that means dot class file has been generated. The moment it's clear, no error will be there, it will create the dot class file. So now we'll compile. See, we compiled, what happened? It's created one box file, and it's created one box file and one box demo it has created. So 2 dot class file has been created. Okay, so now what we have to do, we have to run this program. So Java space, and the moment you type, see, even there is a shortcut, right? Just type B and press tab button. So automatically get the class name, because that the first class it's coming as a box dot class, but this is not our main class. So box, press sorry, if you write again D and press space, automatically it will come. So we have already demo1.java. If no file is there, then automatically the file name it will take. So actually this is our demo2. So now we have to execute. Okay, see here, output we got it. So what is the volume first? 6000. For second volume is 13,125.0. Is it correct? So 3 2 6. Okay, then 1 2 3. Okay, 6 3 0. Correct. Roughly we'll calculate. Okay, fine. So we got the output. So this way you will create the method. Okay, so hope you all understood how to create the method, how you can call the method in the Java program. So same example I have given here in the PPT. Okay, okay, so now the main point is there. You have to understand one thing, like for returning values, right? So we are using return type, right? So you can use boolean also in the return. See, there are two important things to understand regarding the returning the values. Okay, the type of data returned by method must be compatible with the return type. Okay, and specified by return type specified by the method. So that means whatever you are using return type, if you are using void, then you should return type give the void. If you are using int, you have to use int. It is not like that you are defining the return type as a boolean, okay, and when you are returning, then you are using integer. So this will not work. This you remember. So the variable receiving the value returned by method, okay, such as volume in this case, must also compatible with the return type. It means to say that we have used here no return type. So here also you should give the no return type. Nothing should be given. Otherwise, if you type here again in this program, take example, if I used here as a return, okay, let's see that. Okay, so if I use the return here, this is not correct. So what is your return type? The same it should be. It is mismatching. Okay, that's what it is says in PPT. See, let's compile and see that what you are going to get it here. See, two error. What is the error? It says that error in incompatible types, unexpected return type, right? So it is called as incompatible type. That is, what is incompatible? Because you have used here return type as a void, but return statement you are giving here as a return. So this is incompatible. Okay, so that's what it says here. It is incompatible. You cannot do that. That you have to remember this always. Now here, next. So far we have not any passed the parameter, right? Why it's required? The question is there, when we have to define the parameter, when we should not. This is the big question. Many students always having the doubt for this. See, when you have a program where you have directly value you are assigning, then it is not required. Then you want to pass the specific some value, any value, then you have to use the parameter. because in previous program what we have done, see here also what happened here, you are giving the 10 into 10, so it is defined that the value you are going to use the square for 10 only. Okay, so what is the, how you are going to, a parameterized method can operate on a variety of data and or be used in a number of slightly different situations. So when you have a slight different situation, then you can operate the parameterized methods. So take a same here, what we have done here, it is just a specific, it is there. What you are doing, you are calculating the square of 10 only. Take another example. So what we have done, same method we are defining with passing the parameter. So we are passing the parameter as a I as a integer, so return I. So what will happen in this case, so this place I will be any value which you are going to define. So you can see in the program what we have done. So here you have just declared x is equal to a square 5, x is equal to a square 9. So what happened here, x will become, x is equal to 25 will get. So what happened here, I will be reference to 5, in next I will reference to 9. Now here we changed y is equal to 2, so x is equal to a square of 2, so it y will be passed here as a 2 and this 2 will be passed as a I. So what happened, when you have the specific, like I need a different result to be printed by the user, then that moment you are going to define the parameter in the methods. This is the main thing about parameterized method. Any question? Do you have any question? No question? Any question or not? See this same program, okay, so we just seen that about the returning value, right? So what we'll do here, we'll change this as a double. Let's see that. Okay, now when we change this, then we don't require this line, directly you give the return statement. Okay, so that's all, just give the return statement. Even you can write only this also, no need of giving bracket also, you can use, but better if you give the bracket, it's good practice. Okay, now what you have to do, same way, come to main method, same, everything will be same, only you are going to change here. So what you are going to change here, this will get changed. So what you are going to change here, so here you are going to store this calculation, so somewhere the calculation should happen. So you have to define like volume is equal to there your my box 1 dot volume. So what happened here, we have used one more term, that is volume, which is not declared into this class. So what we have to do, we have to declare here. So what we'll do here, we'll define a volume as a double type. Okay, same way for this also you will do volume is equal to, okay, my box 2. So for this, now this line has to be printed, because here you don't have any printing a statement, just you are calculating that. Now we have to print this. So how you have to print, same way, that is the system.out.println. Okay, now you just write volume is equal to, okay, so here you will write plus volume, same printing statement you are going to give to the for second box, save it. Okay, okay, so same, we'll delete this to bytecode. Okay, let's compile same way, Java C box demo2.java. Oh, again we have to change the path. CD, okay, take the path. Okay, see, there is no error. Now you can see here box and box demo2.class, that is the bytecode has been created here. Now again execute Java, the class, that is your class name 2. So same output we are getting. So this way you can work for the return type. So as I said, it should be not incompatible, the same return type should be there. So now it is done. So next, what we have seen about passing the parameter. Okay, so when you want now, okay, let's see that. So for passing the parameter, hope you understood this. So next, a parameter is a variable defined by method that receive a value when method is called. So what is the meaning of that? That means, as we have seen here, we are using a square and we are passing some parameter. Okay, so that is here I will be called as a parameter. Okay, next, what is there? If you are passing the value, so when value is there, that is called as the argument. So an argument is the value that is passed to a method when it is invoked. Okay, so this is the two difference. What is the difference between parameter and what is the difference with what is the parameter and what is the argument? So parameter, that is the variable, that is the variable what is you have assigned into the method, that is called as parameter, and if you are assigning the value, then it is called as an argument. Okay, so I think